Okay, I have an update for my Golemancer, and I tried to make this build the cheapest way to play Golemancer. You can do it much better than this with higher DPS, but you have to put a lot of Exalt in it. This is like a 2 Exalt build. So I just wanted to say what changes I made. So what I did was I moved the Primordial Might jewel, which let me show you, which is this jewel. Because it was making all of my golems aggressive. Instead of that, I'm using this feeding frenzy, which is linked to my ice golem and my flame golem, which is 7 out of my 10 golems. So which is most my DPS golems. So those are aggressive, and they usually go around and they go further from me. For the two utility golems that I'm using, this one gives me more physical reduction, and this one gives me life regen, a stone golem and chaos golem. I'm using them as a meat shield, so they stay close to me and they taunt. The stone golem already has a taunt, the other one gets a taunt, and they stay close to me. So this way I have 2 golems close to me, and I have 9 golems just shooting around. So the other golems that I have is summon lightning golem. I'm just using it as I'm just having it so I have another minion type for extra damage. And this minion damage support doesn't make a difference. Maybe I put a life. I have a minion life. Maybe I put something else. I don't know. But maybe I get another green with GMP, and I have Calling Strike to just clear. I think that would be a better option than minion damage, since the damage is not that relevant. That's the only damage support that I have. The rest don't do much. So far I'm using it like this, but I think with the GMP and Calling Strike that it would hit more target and it can kill anything that's lower than 10%. So that's one change that I made. The other change that I made was before I was taking these to make my phase run last longer. As you can see, which I took it out. My phase run is 4 seconds and it lasts almost 3 seconds. The thing is, since I'm using this Necromancer Aegis with this Victoria Charity, when my golems kill an enemy, I have 5% chance to get a frenzy charge. Usually I have like 4 or 5 frenzy charges. And when I'm casting a phase run, my phase run lasts long enough that I don't need increased duration anymore. So I have my phase run linked to just increased duration, and that's Flame Dash, and that's it. So if you want to go with a higher DPS, the best way to do it is either choose a Flame Golem or Ice Golem, and have a 6 links in your chest, and then use the other. Let's say if you want to go by Flame Golem, so have a Flame Golem with 5 links in the chest, and then use this Lightning Golem and Ice Golem just as utility with Calling Strike and GMP. So this would give you much more DPS, but and if you want to do it that way, then you need 3 blue on your chest. So getting a Skin of Loyal with the way I have it 222 is almost like 56. I think I got it for like 30C. If you wanted to get with 3 blue, you have to put like a couple of Exalt in it. It's very expensive because it's what everybody wants with the Skin of Loyal. That's why I went for this. But if you have the currency, just put your whatever you want. Depending on what you're linking, is you have to look at the link item. Like if you're doing a Flame Golem, you want, for example, Echo, or you want you're supporting the magma balls basically. If you have Ice Golem, you can go with more melee support. So check depending on what golem you want, put whatever support you want. But right now I'm just putting both of them here. So the way it works now, most of my golems are level, and I bought the level 21 gems for like 3C to 5C depending on what golem I wanted. So which are very cheap, and you you hit level 70, you can just put there like 5 gems, you can put like 25 C in your golem to get a level 21. Again, if you have the money, try to get a level 21 with 20 quality, but again, the 20 quality only gives you 10% increased damage, which is not much, but it's a lot since you also have a lot of more damage from the jewels. Anyway, so like this can scale with the chest with 3 blues, and with 2120 you can scale it a little bit further. So the other things that I changed is my boot. I'm using this boot just to get the additional curse. There's another version of this boot that you can upgrade, which is 120C, but again, since I want to keep it cheap, this is a couple of Cs, like 2-3 Cs, and gives me another basically curse. And I'm using, this is my curse setup basically. So I'm using blasphemy and with enfeeble and elemental weakness. Again, since I have both ice golem and flame golem, I'm using elemental weakness. If you're using flame golem, you want flammability. If you want as a curse, if you have ice golem, you want I forgot what the other curse was for the ice one. So depending on what you have, make sure you're using the correct curse. And enfeeble is just makes me live. So I have enfeeble as a defensive curse. I have this part, the phase run, as a defensive curse. And if you look at my defense, I also have 50% damage reduction just from Chaos Golem because of my ascendancy. So the other thing that I like, like the idea with this build is like I don't want to do an attack. That's why I don't want to get EE. That's why I don't care about the rest of my ascendancy. Like maybe this is good, it gives me more elemental resistance, so I can use the items better. This has no effect if I take it. This has no effect if I take it, because I'm not casting anything. So the only one node that I might want to take is this, but I'm not doing the rest of the labs. I don't care. And I show you that it works with only 2 labs. The other thing that I did is like, so basically the gems that you need is Anima Stone, which is a little bit expensive, 50C I think, which gives you +2 golems, and the amulet, which gives you another 3 golems, and the chest, for example. The rest of the, like these are 50 Cs each, but the rest of the items are probably a couple of Cs. And then for the jewels, all of my jewels is harmony, except 3 of them. I'm using 1 anima stone. As I said, I took the might out, and I'm using 2 primordial eminent. So this jewels makes the flame golems and ice golem cast faster, which gives you more DPS than using, like at some point the number of harmonies, when you have like I think around 7, the next harmony gives you less DPS than using an eminence. So I'm using an eminence, 2 eminence at this point. Like you can look this up in POB to see if it makes sense to use eminence or not. You can just look at your flame golem, for example, the emulate and DPS, and try to play with the juice, see how many harmony you need and at what point you can switch to eminence. So anyway, and I didn't have this, so instead of getting these, now I have this, and yeah, that's it. So I took all the jewels plus life plus some defense here, jewels, life, jewels, jewels. This is life, this is life, this is life, jewels and golem. Very simple, very easy to do. If for the level up, if you want to level up, I would say to get this part. Gives you life and gives you an extra golem early on, which is very nice. And then after that, you can either get this part first and then go for the defensive part. And in the way, when you're going, you don't need to get the jewels because you can't use them. Let me just, while you're leveling. So these are you can use them, but it doesn't do much because your golem don't do a lot of DPS at that point. So I usually just pass by them until I get around level 50, 60, when my golems are a bit higher level, and then I start like getting the jewels and buying the jewels one by one and put them. So now let me show you how this works in a map. So and the other good thing is like since you don't do any attack, you don't aggro anything, and you have 50% visibility all the time with phase run, usually nothing attacks you. All you have to do is to make sure that you're dodging enough, and your golems are usually don't die. Maybe on T15, T16 your golems might die. And with this setup I have enough to cast 2 golems. I have enough mana to cast 2 golems, which is also a good thing. I don't need to turn off one of my curse to cast them. And I don't care about potions, so stop telling me like, oh, you have garbage potion. Use whatever potion you want, who cares. You get enough regen from the golem that the life flask doesn't make any difference. Either you get one-shotted or your golem would heal you back up, unless your golem dies, then you need the life. And you have phase run and you're running fast enough, but you can use the potion to run. You can use defensive potion, like do whatever you want. Anyway, the other good thing is like I don't care about I can run almost all the maps, like except this one has like -12 play resist. That's a negative, but again, since I'm not attacking and nothing attacks me, it's not as bad. Life regen, not getting life regen is also a negative because your Stone Golem doesn't hit you, but again, that's not a big deal either. Let's see how this goes. Let's do Niku then.
Exile.
Basically, this is a T14. I'm doing this map. T13, sorry. And I'm 87 now. And the leveling is very fast. As soon as you hit level 7, it's very easy to level. As you can see, you just walk through everything.
Easy returns.
I'll let your golem kill everything. Okay, my golems are dying. I'm just recasting my golem.
I need
my ice
more mana.
golem died.
I like it better this way.
So I can cast another golem. Okay, now I have my 10. Okay, that's the thing. You see, now I had enough mana to cast golem. Oh, another thing that I did that I forgot. Oh, come on. I'm just using a flesh offering on my cast and damage taken.